comment, like, and subscribe. All right, so in this video, you're gonna see the white coupe, which I know some of you love this car and some of you hate it because of the LS swap, but no matter what you think about it, it is a fast little street car. And I put the ET Street tires I had back on it. Those are 17s. And I put new wheels on it front and rear, and I'll talk about that in the video. And I'll even do a ride around without any talking or music, so you can actually see what the car's like just cruising around if you wanted to know about that. I've had a few people ask about it, so I'm gonna cruise around, beat on a little bit, show you how it is out on the street with the new rear suspension I did to it and the tires. And I hope you like the video. I'll try to, add more content later, but I try to give you, tangible things that you can actually understand or use or do on your own project, or you can see how it works for me before you go out and do it. Some of it's just for entertainment. So I hope you like the video, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for all the subscribers. I'm up to 87,000 subscribers now, which is just incredible. I've been on YouTube for 16 years, but I had the biggest growth in the last 4 years. So hopefully it's due to the content I've got. And I appreciate it. I appreciate all the things that you guys do and say in the comments. I try to respond to every single one of them. And thanks for hanging out. Talk to you soon. As I'm doing my maintenance on the coupe, since I just did the dyno, I figured it's time to go and change the oil. So I drained the oil out, put a new filter on it, and put 10W40 synthetic redline fluid in it. While I was in here, I'm just checking it out. Check this out. That's the A-arm bushing. And apparently it has broken and pushed out only on that side. But when I look over here, guess what? This one has done the same thing. So bushings are in here, nothing's in there. You can see where it slid back. So this would explain a lot of how the front end doesn't feel quite connected as I thought it should. So I found online the replacement parts. So I'm gonna take this down and put in the new bushings tomorrow when the parts come in. And hopefully that's going to tighten up the front end. That's why if you own a hot rod, you better be able to work on it and do maintenance and keep constant checks on it, because these things, that's just how they are. I don't know how long it's been that way. I've noticed with changing the wheels from the skinnies to the wides that were on it, it just never felt great in the front end, and this would explain a lot. So I'll show you when I get the parts in what it looks like. Other than that, everything else is looking really good on the car. All right, the bushings came in, energy, suspension, part number 4-10103G. And these are supposed to be the exact replacements for the AJE K-member 8-arm kit here. So what I have to do is go in here and unbolt this on both sides and hang it down, and then press in the new bushings. I'll see if I can do all this without removing the strut. I think if I put a little bit of pressure here with my floor jack, I might be able to do this. We'll see. I'll see what's easier. All right, show you where I'm at so far. So I went in here and loosened the bolt, nut and bolt, started driving the bolt out, but then it started hitting the steering rack. So then I had to unbolt the steering rack and basically slide it down, which pulled it out of that little shaft right in here, which is easy enough to plug back in when I go back in with it. But either way, if you look, this steering rack bushing's a little bit for the wear here, but I might see what I can do with that. Might be all right, but this one's definitely not. So I'll get this down. Hopefully I can get it down and just basically swing that up, but we'll see. If I'm thinking wrong, won't be the first time. Anyway, got to get these bolts out so I can get this down. All right, so I repositioned my pole jack. Now I was able to get the bolts out there, and then you can see here, get that down. So let me get this all the way down so I can break out this offending bushing here. All right, here's the old bushing. Try to tap it out, but it's really snug. Be better in a vise. But without taking it apart, take you a drill bit, drill some holes in the rubber, and then take your screwdriver and just dig it out. That's what I did here, and there it is. And I took a file and cleaned up the edges a little bit. Now I'm gonna take some lube, put on it, and then knock it in with a hammer, and then that side'll be done. The rest of them look fine, but that's how you do it. That's a down and dirty way to do it. All right, so I got it started with my hammer, and then took my C-clamp here and drove it all the way in. See there? You go on as tight as you can so it slides up in that arm without any interference. So that's on. I'll take my C-clamp off, and this side is repaired. All right, all finished up. Steering rack reattached. There's the new bushing there. Looks great. There's the new bushing there. Everything's tight and ready to go. So, disaster avoided, or maybe some bad steering, or maybe even some severe tire wear, but we found it, we fixed it, we're good to go. Again, energy suspension 410103G is the replacement for your AJE arms. All right, so today, back on the TTFox, aka the TTSaleen, with 2 3s instead of 2 E's. I know you like that. Today we're going to be working on the rear suspension. So this is the upper control arm relocation kit from Team Z Motorsports. So basically the stock arms are something like this that go to the rear end. We're taking those off. This is actually going to go into the rear end. I got to take the rubber bushings out. These go in place of it there. We remove this, slide it all together, and then once that's in, these go on like this and connect to the car, and then these are braces that basically unbolt it, and then it goes down from here to the rear end and gives it more stability. But these actually relocate it so it's more in line, like a 4-link type of system. Instead of arms being so kicked out, they're brought in, and the height and all that. There's more information, you can go online and look for it, but that just gives you a quick overview. And I got the wheel off so you can see what I've got in here right now. But this is how the stock arm bolts in with like the rear end and the rubber bushing that's in there. So I got to get all that out in the metal sleeve and take this arm off, and then I'll be ready to start putting in the new parts. So it's pretty straightforward. I might have to bend the brake line here out of the way, but other than that, should go on pretty quickly. The biggest challenge here is getting out that rubber bushing and sleeve. All right, so remove your bolts, support the rear end with a pole jack there, and then just wiggle these off like that. And here you can see it's got the rubber bushings in them, and they definitely are worn, but they're not as bad as I was expecting. I thought they're going to be really worn out, but still, that's why you don't really want to run rubber bushings in your race car, because they will do this over time. So having a solid heim joint is much better. And by comparison, here's the difference. Solid heim joint, but you can see the difference in the bar length and angle and all. Anyway, all right, let me get this one off. See what it looks like. About the same kind of wear on it there. Okay, so there's those, and we can see this factory bushing is definitely kind of beat up a little bit, but actually not as horrible as I would have thought. That one looks a little worse for the wear, but still intact and still work. Okay, you can see up in here the torque boxes have not been fully welded, which I'm gonna get Jason Brazel to take care of that for me. We'll get those fully welded up there. Repair this right here, this crack right there, weld that up properly, make sure torque boxes are good, weld this all in really good. And yeah, all right, so I'll go ahead now and I'll start drilling out this bushing and then try to get that sleeve out. Okay. All right, so some drilling into the bushing. This was not a factory bushing, this was an aftermarket polyurethane, and it did not want to come out very easy, but I drilled it. I took some pry bars, I prised against it, and then I took my punch here and my hammer and punched it, and then I got it out pieces like this. So that is out now, and now I need to get the sleeve out, and then I can jump and do the other side here. So what they show you online is you take a punch and you basically punch this down here, and you should be able to drive this out. But you just want to break the bond on it. And so I'll do that now, beat it up a little bit, see if I can get that out. So there you go. You see how I dented it in, and then it's just a slow process. An air hammer sure would have been nice right now, but I don't have one, so I had to use the arm and shoulder hammer. Anyway, all right, so this one is out. I'll clean it up really good, get any burrs off of it, run a little file around it real easy. And now I got to do all this over again over here, but that's how you can get them out. Like I said, an air hammer would probably make it a lot faster, but this is what I've got. All right, so to get started, removed all the hardware, and there's a bolt that goes through here, pull it out. And based on this coating, this thing may be locked, so you kind of got to beat it around a little bit to get it loose. And then once you get it loose, it comes apart like this. And we have to spread it because we got to get it over the rear end so we can drop it in. So see, I'll just show you, I'll just hold them up like this and see how it's not far enough apart to go in. So I'll loosen this some more, or spread it apart some more like this. And then I should be able to manipulate it in there. Easier with two hands instead of one, but you get the idea. This goes down as support on the rear end. Then this is going to slide in, and once you get it slid all the way in, then you can put your bolt back in here and get it all done. But let me go ahead and work on that a little bit, and I'll show you the result. All right, and this is what it looks like with those going through. But here's the issue. See how that's flat and flush? This is right there, not quite all the way in. And see, my hole doesn't quite line up. And I'm like, why isn't this thing going? Took a hammer, and right here on the rear end there's just a little spot. So I'm gonna have to get my grinder and grind that little, just that little nub off, and it should go in a little bit more. But this one is all the way up. I did have to move the brake line back out of the way so it's not under the brackets. But I'll get that little nub off, and that should tighten that up just a little bit more. I don't know if it'll be enough here, and if it's not, that's easy to fix. Just take your drill bit and drill all the way through here so you can get the bolt through it. So not a big deal, but things may not fit exactly as you think out the box, and I'm just surprised they didn't do that a little bigger. But either way, I'm gonna get that nub off so this goes all the way flat instead of that. This one's in there good. And just a trick, I use some WD-40 on this shaft and these just to make it assemble easier, and it did really nice. So before I get too far ahead, I went ahead and put the bolt through here in the ear, and you'll notice on the ear it has a wide and a thin spot there. The wide part goes to the back like this, the thin goes to the front, and you got these spacers that go on each side, or shims, of the control arm. So you put this bolt through on the back side, and you come around to the front. Let me get my light here so you can see it. And you put the bolt through, so there's a shim on each side of the control arm like this. And then put your nuts on the inside so they hide it. And that is ready to be tightened down. Before I do that, I'm gonna put this side together same kind of way with the wide end like this. All right. So I'm gonna get that together. Just wanted to show you while I'm in process. All right, so while we're in progress here, I went ahead and tightened each of these bolts down that go through the rear end. See there? Those are tightened down, pulled in as tight as they can against the housing, and see my bolt hole there still isn't quite lined up. So I'm gonna take a drill bit now, and I'm gonna run through here and open the hole up to get the bolt through it. How much purpose does it serve? Does it keep it from flexing any? Who knows? But I'm just gonna put in there so it's attached. And then once I get the arms up and installed, I'll tighten the bolts up here. But for now, I'm just gonna leave them loose till I get everything up in place, and then we'll be good to go. But this gives you an idea of what it looks like and how it attaches. And just like that, hole's cleaned up. And we'll find our bolt here, and let's see. perfect. And you'll never know that it didn't fit perfectly. So I'll put the nut on the back and I'll tighten this up and this part will be done. I almost forgot these braces. So the flat part with the big hole goes up top here like this and hooks into place, and then this goes down here where the bolt goes through, and you'll notice it's got a slash on it. So this is the driver's side. You can line it up there so it looks nice, and one for the passenger. So I'm gonna put these on and I'll show you the finished product. Slide that there. Put this on here. That'll just hold it in place, and then use the hardware that came with these. Put the bolt through right here, this existing hole in the rear end, and that'll give you a brace. All right, for this step, to get the arm to match, I got my jack under it. Trying to get it somewhere where I think it's gonna be, but it's still a little far away. So run it all the way down, take a Sharpie and mark on it longer and put an arrow. On the passenger side, you twist it up and it makes it longer. So you hold this in and you turn this middle sleeve here and it equally pulls out on both sides. On the driver's side, to make it longer, you actually go down. Same thing, hold it and go down. I've got this one in. This won't be my final adjustment. This just helps me get the arms in place so I can tighten everything down. And then once it's tightened down, then we'll try to set the pinion angle. I've got a chassis guy, Brazel Performance Fab, Jason Brazel, who's gonna be doing the final tweaking. We'll scale the car and we'll get it all set up so it's perfect. But for now, I can eyeball it and get it pretty close. All right, but just a little tip, take a Sharpie, turn it the same number of turns. In my case, I did 8 full turns to get it where it should line up here. And if it doesn't, at least I know how many turns. That one's 8. This one might take 9 to get the bolt in, and then I'll turn it back. All right, here's the finished product. Everything's tight. The bolt up here is tight. These are tight. This is tight. I'm sure without saying, you just put the spacer on each side of that, tighten them down. Tight on this side. The bracket's tight here. So that's what it looks like. That's the relocated upper control arm kit. I ended up having to turn this one 10 turns to get it to line up. And now that it's in place, I'll take a wrench and I'll shorten this 2 turns so it'll be exactly 8 turns like the other side. And then I'll put weight on it. I'll put it on jack stands and get it down and see if I can check the pinion angle. And basically you want it neutral to pointing down just a hair. So if I can get it there, it'll be pretty close to what it was before. And then I'll get my chassis guy to get it perfect. All right, so this is the next day. Turn on some lights here. I got the car on the ground, got the slicks back on it last night, and I haven't drove it yet. I want you to look at something here. Look how the tire fits to the fender there. See there, the quarter panel? And now look at this side. See how this side of the tire is more pronounced? You can see it right here. I can put my hand straight down and I'm hitting tread. Where on this side, if I put my hand straight down, I'm not hitting anything. So that means is the rear end is shifted to the right. Now you're probably wondering, how do I fix that? Well, it's easy. You just shorten the opposite side's upper control arm, and that pulls the rear end. As long as you don't adjust both of them, the pinion angle will not change. So if you want to adjust the pinion angle, adjust both the same amount, the pinion angle will go down or up. But if you just want to shift the rear end in these cars, just shorten the driver's side bar. In this case, I want to go driver's side. You shorten it up. Now what I want to show you is these are the arms I took off the car, and the previous owner had done the exact same thing. So if we measure from the center hole to here, that is just about 9 1/8. Okay, that was the driver's side. Now if we look at the passenger side, that one is clearly 9 1/4. So that's what he did. He actually had shortened the upper on that side to straighten the rear end up. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna do a turn on this side, and hopefully that's gonna center it up where it needs to be. And to set the pinion angle, you really need to raise the car up where it's on all 4 tires so you can check the angle and the measurement. But for now, I'm just gonna leave it like it is. It looks somewhat close. So one thing to keep in mind when you're setting the pinion angle If you have rubber or polyurethane, you normally add like an extra degree because you know it's going to twist and give a little bit. When you have the heim joints, you don't have to do as much. So we'll see where mine sets up. Again, I got it pretty close. All right, so got the new Race Star wheels. Got my ET Streets mounted on it. And there we go. Look pretty good and fit good. Get these up here so you can see them. That fits really nice. That is a 9.5 inch wide wheel with a 305 45 17 tire. And I gotta make sure they're gonna clear. I might need a very small spacer. The wheel cleared, but the way the sidewall is, it might not. So I've got some spacers I'll try out and I'll show you the final product. All right, so it needs a very small spacer. It clears everywhere except right here on the body of the shock. So it is touching the shock. All right, so probably a 1/4 to 1/2 inch spacer is what I need. You can see I got plenty of room here. So it's gonna look great once I get that on. All right, in the theme of adding new wheels to the car, so those are Race Star 17 by 9.5 with a 305 45 17 tire. And in here, these were my Bogart wheels that I had on here, but I've taken them off and I've replaced them with, let me get these out of the way. I've replaced them with these Star wheels with my same M&H tires. Those are 185 55 17. This is a 17 by 4.5. And yeah, these are gonna go on the coupe now. Let me get those off. Not quite as light as the Bogarts, but they're also nowhere near as expensive as the Bogarts. But they look like what they used to call the Bogart Dragonfly 5-star, which is why I picked them. And they look like a weld front runner as well, Lumistar. So anyway, I'll get those on, show you the finished product looks like with this sweet LS conversion. I mean Coyote cover on an LS. All right, you ready to see this? I think it looks pretty good. So now the car has 17-inch wheels front and rear. Those are 17 by 4.5 with a 185 55 17 M&H tire. And that tire is made by Coker, C-O-K-E-R. I like it because it's a real radial tire with a kind of a street tread wear on it. And then in the back, these are 17 by 9.5, and they got a 305 45 17 ET Street R tire on them. And I ended up, these have a 6.8 back spacing, which was touching on the inside, and I put a 3/8 inch spacer on it, and they fit like an absolute glove. Look at that. That looks like it's mini tubbed. That tire fits absolutely perfect. Now, somebody had gone in there and actually beat around on the inner fender lip that had been rolled and on the inside there. But other than that, look how that fits. I love this being tucked in like that. You just don't know how I hate on a Foxbody when the tread's sticking out to here. I don't like it, but I love this. This looks great, and they look pretty close to the front. It's a 5-spoke wheel. The biggest difference is these are made by a company called Vision. Basically, it's the exact same wheel you can get at Jegs, called the Jeg Star or whatever, and they're $192 a piece as of April 2026. So I think it looks really good. The only thing I can tell you the difference between that Race Star, that one's really finished polish. This one is not. This one could stand a little bit more polishing to really pop. And the center cap they give you isn't really a chrome center cap to kind of pop. It's kind of a bright silver chrome look. So it looks okay, but you know me and the details. These do take regular Acorn style lug nuts on it. I've got a set of Gorilla locking lug nuts on it in chrome, and they fit perfect. And as you can see here, it's got plenty of room between the brake caliper and the spoke. Actually, my Bogart was much closer but didn't touch. I think this is only a 1.75 backspace, and I think the Bogart was like a 2-inch backspace. So either way, but it fits great with this tire. You can see there, it's tucked in as well. Looks excellent. So just wanted to share with you, I have changed the wheels and tires. These will be the forever wheels on this car now. I was gonna do some chrome ponies on it, but they've been on back order at Late Model Restoration for weeks. And I wasn't sure the back space, if I got a 17x9 or 17x10, how they'd fit. I reached out to a guy on YouTube who has a set of 305s on his Foxbody, and he runs the 10-inch pony wheel, but he told me he had to narrow the rear end a little bit, like an inch or so, to get them to fit. And I'm not ready to do that yet, so I did this instead. I got these Race Stars on sale. They were $240 a piece. And again, the front ones were $190 a piece. So not a bad way to get you a drag wheel setup. Are they the lightest? No, they're not quite the lightest like a Bogart, but heavier wheel like that. They are good for street use, which I plan to do 95% of the time on this car, but you can take that to the track and run it. And again, I think it's pretty close. These remind me of the Bogart Dragonfly Star, they used to call them. But I think it's cool. It gives it that kind of retro look. I might go in and paint the brake calipers a different color or something later. But for now, that's it. I went out and did a test drive on it on the street, and it hooks pretty decent with the new rear upper suspension relocation kit and these ET Streets. So hope you liked the video. We'll talk to you soon. Breaking loose, so once the tires get a little hot, I might hook a little better. We'll see. I might have to turn my goose back down. I got 6 pounds on the scramble here if I need it. into it. Dead hooked. Awesome. So I just need to get the tires a little warm, so we're good. working. Nice. It took it too, it didn't spin. This thing's awesome on the street. Those ET streets work really well, I like them. All right, time to get back to the house.